Hello, Internet. Hey, on today's Squad Talks, we're going to talk about brand messaging. We're going to talk about why it matters, what it looks like, maybe share some examples, and then talk about how we put that into practice at the marketing squad. So stick around. Do we look here and then at each other? How do we start?
Okay.
I'll look here and then
we're
I'll
both
look.
like this. We're like, this is. I'm just kidding.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, so, all right, good. Okay, so, hi there. Yeah, this is another episode of Squad Talks over coffee
Or tea.
or tea. And so I'm Aaliyah. I've been on some of these, but I just realized not as host. That might be why I'm not sure what I'm doing. And
Doing great.
So I'm hosting today, and I am our. I help lead our marketing at the squad, as well as oversee like our partnerships, our ongoing partner relationships with organizations that see us as their marketing team. And so I'm here with a special guest. His name is Kevin Peterson. Kevin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So my role at the marketing squad, I'm VP of Client Experience, which means oversee all of our projects. Also kind of wear the title of Creative Director. I've had more than one title since I've been here, but that part of my role has stuck. And so in that, I'm helping our project team, who support partners as well, make sure that we're telling a consistent story for our clients, partner clients and project clients, whether that's visually, through the written word, and the video content that we produce. So that's kind of how that plays out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your title was Creative Director for quite a while on your card. I remember it. It was long, actually, several things. But it's definitely a hat I feel like you wear a lot here at the squad. So because of that, today our focus, since it's really like your bread and butter, I feel like, is about brand messaging. Because we're in a series for the next few weeks of just branding in general, because it's a new year. So like, why not, if you need to rebrand or just refocus on what your brand is, so that all your plans and content for the year is on point. So branding is our series. Today it's brand messaging.
Yeah.
What is it? Why does it matter?
So brand messaging is all about the words you use. So we at the marketing squad believe that people are moved to make decisions based on the words they hear or the words they read. And so for us, we have to be mindful of putting a consistent message forward that articulates the points that we have decided are important for this client and the story they're telling, and do it with the words and the tone that captures the brand for that client. So a lot of times when people think branding, they think of a logo, think of colors. Oh, well, our website looks like this, and we have sales flyers that look like that. But you also have to think about the words you say and the words you use. Excellent branding. From that standpoint, you can read a headline, or you could read a billboard with no graphics on it and know what brand that message came from. Mm-hmm. So when you're doing it really well, and you're doing it consistently, that's when people know that you're on point and you really took brand messaging seriously.
Yeah. I'm glad we're doing this one together, because I'm a message and words person myself. I love to write, and I'm very passionate about the power of words. And when I've spoken on this topic before, I actually thought of this phrase that, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and that's true, but that's sometimes the problem. And so I can show a picture of a crying child, and 1,000 different words and reasons could be why. Is it because they were told they couldn't get the toy, or is it because they're homeless and hungry? But if you use the word orphan, or you use the whatever that word is, it gives clarity and evokes the right emotion or action or whatever feeling, and that is to me why words are powerful, especially if they can go with a visual. But just the fact that clarity, all the things.
Context is everything.
Yeah. So I like that too. So I guess just maybe tell us about, how we help with brand messaging here at the squad. I know there's some frameworks. Could you maybe expound on that of like recommendations too?
So as a company, we've really latched on to Storybrand, and the premise behind that is that stories are part of who we are just as humans, and we've grown up each individually hearing stories. And so stories follow this well-worn path in our brains, and in that we can kind of predict where something's going because we've been hearing stories, movies written, stories, novels, children's books, and we want to latch on to the framework that is already sort of hardwired into our brains. And so for us, Storybrand is a part of that. When we sit down to tell a story, it starts with the audience. And so who are we talking to? So we want to build a persona around, it's usually 2 or 3, anything more than that, and your story is not going to have as much power. But we want to understand who is the target audience for this client,
right,
and what do those people want. It's less about gender, age, income, status, whatever it is, and more about what that individual wants. Because if we can key in on that, if we hit on those points when someone lands on a website or they see an ad or they see a sales flyer in front of them and it hits on something that they want, then that's a great starting point. And so as we build those things out, it begins with who are we talking to? And beyond that, that person we've now identified is the hero of the story we're telling. So the hero for the stories that we tell is certainly not the marketing squad. It's not even our clients, although we hope that they truly succeed. The hero in the stories we tell are our clients, our customers' customers. We want our clients to be able to reach the people that they want to reach.
Yeah, that's the error number one in a lot of brand messaging, right? Is that the business thinks that they need to present themselves as the hero.
Yep.
A lot of marketing is even like, we're the superheroes,
Right.
when
Right.
the person they're trying to reach is the one who's at the center of their own world. Everybody is the
Exactly.
center of their world,
Right. Right.
So.
And you'll see, I hate to say bad marketing, but ineffective marketing sometimes starts with, I have a product, isn't it wonderful? And instead of saying, you have this problem, I'm here to help solve that problem for you. And so when you jump to solution and you skip over a problem or you skip over a need that someone has, a desire that someone has, there's a good chance you're going to not make a connection with that visitor to your website or viewer of your ad, whatever it might be. So it all starts with understanding who you're talking to, and we build out those personas accordingly. So then once you know who you're talking to, then it's likely some of the problems you're facing. So our clients, many of them are well established, and then sometimes we work with a startup and they've got an idea and they think it's going to key in on something that someone feels. And so we want to develop that from what are the external problems that someone has, what are the factors that are affecting them that they maybe don't have control over, what are the internal problems that they have. So how do these external problems make them feel internally, and can we speak to those? Because once you really get on that level, wow, this person really understands what I'm dealing with. Being able to articulate a problem is wonderful, but if you don't give a plan for someone to be able to solve that, then you aren't helping them. And so can you put forward a plan that's very simple, that they can see from step 1 to step 4 or 5, a simple progression. Oh, if I do this thing and then they do that thing, then my problem's solved. So those are some of the parts of the framework. You can dig in Storybrand more and learn about what the entire framework. But the end of it gets to what does success look like. So we believe that as individuals, everyone's trying to become a better version of themselves, and have you as a marketer keyed in on that desire that someone has. As they read the words on your page or they watch the video that you produce, can they see how buying your product or service will help them become the person that they want to become? It could be that they just need a new washer and dryer, but really what do they need? Well, they want to present themselves well when they're in public. They want to preserve these clothes that they've spent money on, that for them portrays a certain status or style that they're after. That's the real need they have. They're less concerned about being able to wash things on cold versus hot versus all this. At the end of the day, they just want to present themselves in a way that projects what they want to project. And so as a marketer, can you drill down into that and see what those needs are, but then say, here's what success looks like. If you engage with us, then here's a likely outcome you could experience, and move them towards understanding that it's possible through working with them. So
Yeah. Ease, comfort, peace of mind, like those are often those inner things that someone hopes to achieve in the end. So think about any accounting firm, plumbing company, to be able to say peace of mind. You don't have to, and the opposite is a problem. Like it's something broken, it's a disaster in your home. Peace of mind is what we can offer you. It's like some people maybe overreach for that one, but it's in everybody's desire.
Most people don't care about the kind of toilet they have or whatever. They just don't want things to leak, and they want their home when they come home from work at the end of the day that everything's still in order. There's no disasters to clean up, and so can you key in on what people really want? So that that kind of touches somewhat on the story side of brand messaging. The other side of it is, have you thought about your tone of voice? So when you speak as a company, it should sound a certain way. So some companies are make a very concerted effort to speak only positively. They don't want to say anything negative. Some companies, you turn on the TV, you watch a Super Bowl or something, and it's these like inspirational ads. We want to just tug at people's heartstrings, and that's a part of their brand. And so have you stopped to think about, how do we sound when we speak? Do we use a lot of words, or are we succinct? Do we use a lot of technical terms, or do we intentionally want to simplify the messaging so that it's accessible to more people? Maybe it makes sense for your brand to speak in jargon or technical speak because your audience is a very technical audience. And so making decisions based upon that. We work with multiple IT companies. Their clients are not IT professionals, so we don't use all the jargon and language. We want to speak as simply as we can to people who are more concerned about running an accounting firm or having a daycare, whatever it might be, versus being concerned with operating systems and these kind of technical things. And so being intentional about your tone of voice, if you're consistent with it, deliberate with it, over time people will catch on to that, and it will become a part of your brand. So
if someone does not put thought into that, what's the negative outcome of not caring about that?
Well, it goes back to the persona you're trying to connect with. And so if you just sit down and as a business owner or as the C-level leader who is so close to that product and service that you don't stop and think about, how is my customer going to or potential customer going to receive it, you run the risk of alienating them because you've just spoken in a way that's maybe natural to you in a business setting, but you've not thought about connecting with them in whatever state that they're in. So just sitting down and hammering out copy on a sales flyer might feel like you produced something and was productive, but if you weren't intentional about the language you used, like I said, you run the risk of hitting the mark altogether.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is two different companies may produce the same amount of marketing content, same kind of ads, but if one of them is all over the place and different things they're saying, and then the other one hits the nail on the head every time, of very clear tone of voice, if it's funny, if it's educational, whichever they choose that makes sense, that latter one is going to stick with people, and the other one is just going to fall flat, or it's going to feel like run-of-the-mill like everybody else. The other one stands out. Like, I just think what you're saying a lot means it's how it sticks with a person, because it's clear. Confuse, you lose. That's a phrase people use a lot. Well, I would love to hear some. I think this would also be one of those moments. It'd be cool to look at the camera, put on some Jeopardy music, and say, what's your tone of voice? Have you thought about it before? Who's the hero in your story? I think that hopefully this probes people and compels them to think about that themselves if they haven't. Some of the exact questions you said. But I think the biggest selling point of why it matters, which is what we started with today, is just some success stories of people that have done it well, and then it led to growth for the business.
So we work with a variety of clients in different industries. As I think about examples of brand messaging, we work with a global material handling company, innovators in their field, They have a lot that they could tout and say, hey, I'm a good guide for you. I can help you be the hero in your story. But from a brand messaging standpoint, what does that customer care about? Well, they care about reducing risk. So if I'm shipping this pallet of product halfway across the country, I don't want to find out that it was destroyed or half of the products on that pallet were destroyed. So now I've got to reship that shipment. So I'm losing profit. So what do they care about? They want to reduce waste and they want to protect their profits. So does the messaging key in on that? Or are we caught up talking about, size of the equipment and the speed that it does certain things? I mean, the client's going to care about that. But the first message they hear should key in on, hey, we understand you want to reduce waste. And we understand that, profit is important to you, especially in this season of life. So starting there is, a good example for like a material handling company. On a project basis, we do projects for all kinds of clients. We've done recently something for a cabinet making company and, wrote the content for their website. Spent a lot of less time talking about finishes and hardware and, project timelines and these kind of things, and spent more time talking about, look, you could have a dream kitchen, at a price that you could afford, unique to you, one of a kind, these kind of things that when people really sit down and think about what do they want, that's what they want. You're going to have to talk about finishes and handles and, project timelines and these kind of things. But we want to start with something that really grabs people and says, we understand your need. We understand what you're searching for today on the internet, and we have the answer for that. Thinking those things through at the outset is key to success. I was just meeting with a startup, and they're in the technology space helping to optimize workflow. And so it's fun for them, to work with these type of people who they're still kind of finding their footing. They have a great idea of what's going to work because of the experience they have in the field. But helping them to say, okay, I've had enough conversations with you. I understand how you speak. Let's sort of codify that into a document and show it back to you and say, when we've talked, you've been very empowering in your language. That's a part of your brand. We're going to put that on paper. You speak very eloquently, and this client has multiple advanced degrees, and so his brand sounds educated. He's going to use some big words. He's not going to lose people, but we want to capture that. And so you think enough about those things, you're going to be consistent with it. You're going to connect with the audience that you want to reach. So it's kind of a fun part of my job. I can sort of remove myself from the tactics and the strategy at times and just think about, the creative side of putting the words out there, and hopefully it resonates.
So that's cool that you've helped young brands find themselves in a way. They're still in that early phase, and that's exciting to be in that early part, because if you get it right, I mean, the growth you could see for the following years. So I guess speaking of what we get to do day in and day out, can you speak to just our commitment for our clients to not only helping them find their brand messaging, but helping them be committed to it, especially wearing your creative director hat? How does that make a difference for our clients compared to them trying to do it alone? Maybe?
I mean, the challenge that we face at times is, so everyone knows someone who has a certain skill set that we have on our team. I think we bring a unique set of skills together from, video production, graphic design, web development, copywriting, marketing strategy, all those things coming together. But what makes it work is that we're able to step back, remove ourselves from the sort of store blindness that client has, and help them see the world through their potential customers' eyes. And so the challenge for any business leader, and then even for a marketer, is that you become store blind. If everyone understands that term, but when you work in retail and you come into a store every day, that display at the entrance that is a little messy or has a broken leg on or something, well, you've seen it 100 times, whatever, that's just the way it is. But your new customer comes in, they see that and go, oh, that's kind of broken. You know, it sends a message right away. And so specifically what I can do is I can be removed from all that as a creative director and just receive from the team, hey, here's what we're working on, here's some of the goals, and I don't have to worry about tactic and strategy, and I can just see, okay, this piece that we're putting forward, we're working on a large booklet that we're sending out to all the customers within, or all the employees within one of the businesses we work with, and I'm able to just look at that, thumb through all the pages and say, does this add value to these employees from from their leader? Does it say the things we want to say? And so I can be removed from the tactics and strategy and just receive something as much as I can, as kind of thinking from the audience's perspective, and critique it with fresh eyes. And so it's helpful for us to be in lockstep with clients and understand what they want, but then also have members of the team who can be removed from that and just try to receive something fresh with sort of unbiased eyes and
Elevate
give
the
feedback
brand.
on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I would say, our team has been very committed. We spent a lot of time last year, everyone, like, growing in our understanding of brand messaging, the storytelling aspect of it, and even going through some trainings. And so, to me, what you said about, we have a video person, we have a strategist, we have all these unique skill roles, but the thread that ties it together is this commitment to excellent storytelling, brand messaging, and staying and a commitment to uphold that for whatever client, whatever brand we're working for. So we're not just going to make a video for you. We're going to know who your hero is. Like, it's our hero in the story.
Right.
We're going to know who your audience is. We're going to try to know your product, service, solution, whatever it is, really well, and be committed to that brand message that we've collectively decided with you, and it will be the thread that ties all the things we do together.
Yep.
And that is what brand messaging is all about, in my opinion. So, well, I think, do you have a butternut squash soup recipe for us?
In fact, I do. In fact, I do. Truth teller, I know how to make butternut squash soup now. So, inside joke, we'll tell you about it later.
But he actually did, though, share the story of it on his family's, social media, just showing behind the scenes, learning to make butternut squash soup.
We'll share it on the gram. It'll be great. So
this has been. There's plenty to say about brand messaging, but that's why we would love for you to talk to us more. We did prompt several questions there, though, about who's your audience, who's the hero, what's the tone of voice. But we're gonna leave it at that because just a teaser of what we could do together. So Coffee Crossings here represented. And
I'm a brand loyalist. I'm a company man.
He's
At the end of the day,
company man.
Come on now.
The squad. This has been Squad Talks over tea.
Tea.
Boom.
Do we do this now? Should we do a little?
Yeah, we can.
Careful.
Thanks for watching.